Good morning guys and official welcome back to the vlog. It is currently a public holiday here in Australia, Sydney, New South Wales. I don't fucking know if it's nationwide, which I don't think it is. But it's a public holiday, so I thought let's whip out the camera because we're going to do some different things today. But when I say different, I just mean we're going to train at a different gym and still go about our Monday as usual, but just taking it really slow this morning. You would have seen little bits and bobs of like my current morning routine and kind of like morning rituals. Had a bit of a sleep in, which was quite nice. Got ready for the day, put a bit of washing on. Did my journaling, which for the last like week or two has honestly been a godsend. It's been so good and very helpful. I've just been like kind of journaling on just what I'm experiencing at the moment, going over like prep and like life stuff, just so that way I can really kind of get whatever's in my head out on paper, because I very much can sometimes live in my head and really like internalize a lot of things. So being just thought dumping, you know, sometimes I use prompts, sometimes I just kind of write what I need to write, and it's been very helpful. Then I've also started introducing reading back in again, and in particular David Goggins' book, because I read that book when I did my photo shoot last year, and it was just really cool to read a book that's like obviously about someone's life and just like a different perspective. So I think I've read that book already twice. I've also read his second book once or even twice maybe, and I wanted just to pick that back up again because I think it's really interesting to read or to learn about someone's life. Obviously lived a very colorful life, very different to what I have experienced in my life, and just to give you that sort of newfound perspective on challenges and how you can overcome certain things if, you know, life hasn't really dealt you the best of cards, which I think is quite appropriate being in a prep where, you know, there's going to be challenges that come up, obviously not to that degree, but there's going to be times where, you know, your mind's going to want to say don't worry about it, your mind's going to want to stop, you're going to want to tap out when things get challenging. So it's been really cool to reread that and just kind of reread his story again. So I've picked that back up. I've been reading about like 10 pages a day is kind of like my target, but sometimes I'll read a little bit more, sometimes I will do whatever I need to, but kind of implemented that back in also with a membership that I'm currently in at the moment for like business. My mentor's been doing like monthly challenges, and the challenge this month is to do 10 minutes of silence a day, which like the first time I ever did that I was like, what the fuck, this feels like half an hour. I haven't done it in a while, but doing that today was really helpful as well, just to kind of let myself chill. And the goal of today and kind of my intention for today was to take it slow and to allow myself to have a bit of a slower day. There's still some work that needs to get done, obviously still need to train, do all my prep stuff, and then also have my check-ins with my Monday girly pops as well.
I'm gonna go for a quick walk.
So we'll still do check-ins in that, but normally I do them like first thing in the morning on a Monday, or like between a couple hour block in the morning, but just have shifted that, let them know that they'll get them by the end of today. So just kind of taking the morning to myself, doing what I need to, and just chilling out. It's actually quite a nice day outside. It's fucking freezing though. It's very deceiving. You look outside and it's like quite stunning, but if you step outside, you freeze your tatas off. So just want to enjoy the morning. We're going to go train at a different gym as well, and I want to show you that session. So I don't think I've filmed this session yet. So that'll be exciting, take you through another lower body day. My legs are still so sore from Saturday. Like my glutes are cooked. So I'm going to take you through my lower body session today, and also I'll give you a massive prep update and even just a little bit of insight on kind of where I'm at with my nutrition, because I've had this conversation with Jackson yesterday or like over the weekend, and we're just talking about food and kind of where I'm at with like my mindset around food. And it's been really interesting just to observe how my thought processes around food and just how much that has improved compared to previous fat loss phases. And even like the photo shoot phase I did last year, it wasn't terrible. Like I definitely have improved my relationship with food a ton since, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and even since I first started in the gym. But it's just been really cool to kind of understand, like I've done a lot of work between now and the photo shoot prep, that I can really start to practice what I have learned about your mindset around food and understanding, you know, the emotional eating side of things, the stress related eating side of things. And when I am in circumstances when I am stressed, or when there is a lot of food around, like I'm internally like coaching myself through the process of like, okay, you feel hungry right now, why do you feel hungry? And just like going through all that sort of stuff has been really interesting. You know, the last few weeks we've had something on every single weekend. Like it was Jackson's birthday yesterday, so we had family dinner with his family. Even the night before that we had another family function on where there was food everywhere, drinks everywhere. Last weekend we had an event on, the weekend before we had an event on. Like we've had something on every single weekend. And kind of coming into prep I was like, oh, like I really wish I don't really want to have all these events on, but at the same time, I think it's been really, really cool because it's allowed me to understand myself more, learn about myself more, and just to really identify like kind of what these triggers are for me and kind of why. And something that me and Jackson spoke about after Saturday night in particular were like the food and desire to want to eat, because he's currently, I think he's back at maintenance, so he's not dining at the moment. So if he wanted to eat, he could, but obviously it doesn't just align with his plan and whatever. But we're having this conversation like, why do we actually want to eat it? So we're at these sort of events, for example, it's like in between that sort of like awkward, not even awkward silence, but like that in between of like having a conversation with someone, you kind of just sitting there. It's like that's usually when you'd go grab yourself a snack, or if you're having a conversation next to the food table and you know you're not really talking yet, you're kind of listening, like that's when you normally grab things. Or even just like the mental element of it, of being very, very conscious and very, very aware, like that can be fatiguing to a degree when you're already thinking of a fucking million other things. And like we experienced that both in our own way. Like he also had these thoughts as well. He's like, why am I so hungry? Like I've technically eaten all my food today, you know, I'm not starving myself here. Same for me, like I ate all my meals for that day and it's like 9 p.m. at night, why am I hungry? So it's not actually true hunger, and I think that's really important if you can learn that. And when you get an understanding of that and understand the differences between like I'm generally hungry, like my stomach is grumbling for food, versus mentally hungry, where it's just like the food's there, I want to eat it, I'm stressed, I want to eat it, I'm sad, I want to eat it, all these sorts of things. So it's been really fucking cool. But I'm gonna eat my brekkie and I'll give you some updates throughout this vlog, but it's same brekkie. Nothing has changed. I did buy some egg whites to make my life easier, so I'm not going through like 7 eggs a day basically, but also making sure I'm taking my morning supplements. It's just a 1 women's multivitamin and 2 fish oils. Normally I've been taking this in the nighttime, but I just like don't want to smash 6 tablets at nighttime or 6 pills at nighttime, because I still have to take 3 magnesium capsules before bed. And because I take 1 at a time and I like skull water with it, I'm busting in the middle of the night. So to stop me from drinking so much water before bed and just to get ahead of myself, I'm having them now. Oh, also, I don't know if I showed you in the last vlog, but I got a new drink bottle. It's so slay. It's called a Hydro Jug. I got it from Rebel Sport if you're in Australia. And it's probably the best 60 bucks I've ever spent. Like, it is fucking epic, because I bought my original one that was from Kmart. It's $15. That's the first drink bottle I bought for myself and actually used for longer than 5 minutes. I'm very, very weird with like water, taste, textures, and I loved bottled water. Like buying a pump water bottle and drinking fresh, cold, filtered water from the fridge from there, obsessed with. And I hated buying drink bottles or using drink bottles because they started to taste like plastic and like the water would taste weird, and like I was like, I don't want to drink this. Until I found that Kmart water bottle. Sippy straw, I was drinking so much water, so slay. But the issue with that is, one, you can't close it. So the amount of particles that are probably wafting in the air that got into my drink bottle, oh well, strengthen the immune system. And that was kind of the one problem I was finding. And then it would always spill everywhere, especially in the gym. The amount of times I spilled my water bottle all over the gym floor. Not ideal. And then we were at a family function and Jackson's cousin was like, you need to get one of these. And I was like, do tell more. And she was like, look, shut the lid. Doesn't spill. I could regret this, but I don't think that's, oh no, that spilled. But you get what I mean, it doesn't spill, and you can shut the lid so no nasty particles are going into your straw. This has been a great purchase, keeps the water so cold. I'm pretty sure this water has been in there since last night and it's still like, basically like I got it out of the fridge. So if you're on the hunt for a new water bottle and you like the sippy water, and you need a big fuck off one that you can carry everywhere, plus like your shakers and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Highly, 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 highly recommend. Best 60 bucks spent, honestly. I would have never thought I'd spend that much money on a fucking drink bottle, but here we are. Highly recommend. Hashtag not spawn. Hashtag wish I was though. That would be kind of slay. Anyway, I'm gonna eat my brekkie and I'll see you probably when we are at the gym. Before I leave you, that's a perfectly cooked omelette.
I came, I saw, I came, I saw, I praise the Lord and break the Lord. I take what's mine and take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. I came, I saw, I came, I saw, I praise the Lord and break the Lord. I take what's mine and take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. Yeah.
Session absolutely slayed. Really thoroughly enjoying training at that gym, that's for sure. Nice change of scenes. It's nice to know that we are allowed to film and no one looks at us weird because there's other people filming as well. And the equipment is pretty decent as well.
Pretty elite.
Yeah, did you have a good sesh?
I had a pretty decent shit sesh.
Did you push yourself?
I took it easy a little bit, but I still pushed it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure the wrist is all good.
Yeah.
But it was good.
That's a little update from Jackson, but training felt good. I feel really strong still in my sessions. This is the thing about me. I feel so much stronger when I'm dieting for some fucking weird reason, but feeling good. Definitely noticing a lot more DOMs as well, I'd say, in the last week, which is so funny because I think I mentioned this in the last video that will be uploaded by the time I put this up, where I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling that sore, like I don't really feel like I'm pushing myself in my training sessions. I feel like in the last 2 weeks I've actually started pushing myself harder and I'm paying it for it. Absolutely. Did 10 minutes of cardio after. I've still got 60 minutes of cardio per week, which isn't a lot. Usually just breaking that up into 3 20-minute sessions, but at that gym there's no other cardio equipment besides like a ski erg, a row erg, a bike erg, and one stepper, which I did the stepper for 10 minutes and I just capped it at that because I start to feel that all in my hip joints and it does not feel too slay at all. And I much prefer the elliptical for cardio because it's just a lot easier on the joints. And yeah, so I was like, I'll cap it at 10. So then I've got 50 minutes left to do for the rest of the week, which I'll probably just do 2 20-minute blocks, 110 or even 2 25s. We'll see, depending on time later this week. But now we're hungry. Gonna go home, eat my lunch, and then dive into check-ins with the girly pops this afternoon. The prep taste bud doing its thing. Pots are a go. So since the last full day of eating you would have seen, or the full day of eating you would have seen in prep, I have changed my meals slightly, and by changing my meals I've literally just changed my vegetables. Because I was doing steak, and 1 minute protein sauce. I was doing steak, cucumber, tomato, that whole concoction, and then I was doing mince and green beans, which I discovered after the wedding weekend. Yeah, it's so small, isn't it? After the wedding weekend, when I changed my meals to green beans instead of having coleslaw, I was like, this is it. Like we're rocking with the green beans from now on. So I've changed that, but I did find last week, I think last week was the first week, full week I've made the changes to my meals, and I found myself getting in probably a bit too much fiber because my digestion was a little bit out of whack, which is interesting because in the past I've usually struggled with getting enough fiber in my diet when I'm dieting. And then now I'm probably getting a bit too much because I was having about 200 grams of green beans for both lunch and dinner, plus wholemeal muffin at breakfast, plus sweet potatoes. So I was getting a lot of fiber, which is great, but you also don't want to be getting too much because that could also cause discomfort with your digestion, and that's what I found. So for me, like honestly, the sweet spot to get enough for my digestion work properly is literally 25 grams of fiber. Like bang on the dot, 22 to 25 grams, that's the sweet spot. Anything more than that, like I was going to the bathroom like 3 times a day, and this bitch does not need to go to the bathroom 3 times a day. I'm not eating enough food for that amount of food to come out my bottom. Let's be real. Change that around. I'm having anywhere between 100 to 150 grams of green beans per meal. I'm swapped out the steak to mince as well because the steak I do like buying. I like buying the Woolies steak, like the macro steak, but it's just like the cost per steak was just, it's just getting a bit ridiculous. Like I was paying $45 for 6 pieces of 150 grams of rump steak, and like sure it's not a lot, but at the same time I'm like, for what I'm doing I don't need to be paying that much for it, and I purely wanted the steak anyway. Like I like the taste of steak, but I was like, I'm just gonna change this to mince because I like the extra lean beef mince for now, and I don't really want to be having as much chicken or anything like that because it just, I don't really rate it for the meals I'm having anyway. The mince potato green bean combo is a slay, and just season the shit out of it with garlic pepper and garlic powder and onion powder. So I swapped it out for mince, but everything else is basically looking the same. On my training days where I train later in the day, when I train early in the morning, I'm still doing my rice cakes, which I think I swapped out. Before I was doing one English muffin, but it's just like was so little and like not enough food. So I was like, not even one whole English muffin, I was literally having half English muffin. I was like, nah, this isn't it. So swap that out for rice cakes with honey, salt and cinnamon. And yeah, that's pretty much the meal rotation. Honestly, slay. Avocados haven't been too good as of late. Like they were rock solid last week, so I didn't have as many days or as many meals with avocados, and I'd play around with just more like my eggs to get a bit more fats in. But they're back, baby, and I've actually got so much avocado in this meal. Like 80 grams of avocado is a fucking lot, but we need to hit our fats. We need to do it. So yeah, a quick little recap on the training is going so well, and just prep in general has been going really well. Like I feel great. There was a couple weeks where, or like a couple days where I noticed like mentally quite fatigued, and I do notice after the weekend when we do have a bit more on. After the last couple weekends, we've had multiple events on, like birthdays and weddings and whatnot, and I definitely noticed the social battery is tiny. Teeny tiny. So just making sure I'm giving myself time to recharge during the week is kind of a big focus for me. But otherwise, like it's been pretty slay. Like the food side of things is pretty manageable. Like I said, I'm not really on as low calories as I've been before, so it's actually been quite easy to manage, and also very helpful that I know how to keep myself busy throughout the day. So I really don't think about food as much as potentially other people might when they're in prep, or if you're not having as much of a busy day. Like I know on a weekend sometimes I can think about food a bit more, just because generally my days are a bit quieter, or like to spend more time just like chilling at home, etc. But during the week, like Monday to Friday, I'm working, I'm training, I'm doing bits and bobs where, like, you know, when I eat, and when I don't eat, I'm preoccupied, so I don't really think about it as much, which is a very helpful hack when you are dieting to keep yourself busy. I'd say like the biggest challenge I've been navigating is more so just managing stress, which work in progress, which I feel after the weekend, even like the back end of last week, I've kind of gotten on top of and understood like kind of what I need to do to focus on that, and the benefits of focusing on my stress management has, because we've seen quite a big drop on the scale in the last couple of weeks, or just seeing like a lot of that progress come through. I put it on my stories the other day. I'm at that point where I am noticing the changes. Like I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I can't believe that's me, which is really fucking cool. And it's coming from a place of like, wow, like I've built so much muscle in my build phases. I've really put in a lot of effort in my training, in my building, and like put those growth phases to good use, because I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, holy fuck, like that's a new muscle, that's a new line, that's a new vein, like this is hectic. So it's just been like really cool, and like I feel like I'm at that point where every single day is just going to be like that, where I'm like, wow, we look insane. And I think it's really cool. It's very rewarding, because it's obviously that's like part of that delayed gratification of being in a build phase. It's like you get stronger, like you feel your improvements. You know, you will see it to a degree, but not to this extent, obviously, because there is a layer of body fat on you, and things get bigger, you feel tighter, like in clothes and things like that. And now this is kind of the opposite direction, but you really see a lot of that being revealed, which is very rewarding. It's just like, okay, like that's the whole idea of being very process focused versus outcome focused, because in the build phase I can't just be thinking about this is what I'm going to look like now. It's more like, okay, how can I squeeze every single last bit out of this phase, because I know that's going to add up, and thank God I did, because I'm seeing it all pay off now, which is really fucking cool. So I'm waiting to get my check-in feedback back from my coach to see if there's any updates, but based on my last week's check-in, he was like, you're very much like on track / kind of ahead of where we need to be, which would be cool, because it could play around with like refeeds and high days and things like that. So we'll just see, but I'm just very much like in the mindset of whatever he tells me to do, I'm doing it. Like I'm not questioning it, I'm not arguing with it, I'm not trying to negotiate with it. I'm just like, whatever you tell me to do, bro, I'm on. So that's a bit of a prep update. In terms of the nutrition update, I wanted to chat about, because me and Jackson have actually had these conversations over the weekend, and I think it's been really cool and really eye-opening, and I'm doing my post on it tonight, just of how much my relationship with food has improved over the last few years. And you know, I've done more fat loss phases than I have build phases, and that's because for the first 4 to 6 years of my training journey was very much in and out of challenges, in and out of yo-yo dieting, training 7 days a week, fucking twice a day, eating fuck all food, and then blow out. Like, that was very much the cycle I was stuck in for a very long time. And to see where I'm at now with food and how I kind of approach food and just like what I think of it and the thought process I have is just so fucking 180 different. But it's come with time, and it's come with learning and getting curious of like where I'm at with it. Even with my last photo shoot prep, I think I might have spoken about this already, but you know, there was definitely times where like I was hungry and I was stressed, and like I didn't necessarily act on it when I was in the photo shoot prep, but it was just like I didn't really know how to manage it or understand. I didn't have that curiosity. It was just kind of like, why the fuck do I feel this way? Whereas now, like, I've noticed when I am feeling hungry, or if I'm like, I really want to eat that, I'm like, why do I want to eat that? Is it because I am hungry? Is it because I'm stressed? Is it because I'm dehydrated? Is it because you know, like getting curious behind like why these feelings are popping up? Because I feel like a lot of times when you are dieting, obviously hunger is part of it, but a lot of times our body isn't actually hungry. Like food is such a big thing than just food. For some people, it's obviously it's comfort, it's a reward, like that's what people can see it as. But kind of just looking at food now is like something that I eat to fuel myself, to, you know, give me energy, to support my training, to support my goals, to support my lifestyle. Like, I look at it more than just like when I need it in those times. And, you know, there's been multiple moments where I'm like, I could honestly eat what's in front of me right now. And it's just like in those moments, I'm like, well, why? Why do we feel like that? Even though you just had a meal before you came here, what's the reason behind it? And I was even saying to Jackson the other day, like, we obviously make a ninja creamy for dessert, and I put Biscoff in it. And I limit myself to 10 to 15 grams, depending on the day. And, you know, like, I have those thoughts when I'm spooning it out. I'm like, I could just have 20 grams and not tell anyone. Like, I could just spoon this, not track it, and like, who would know? And like, I have that thought process, and I'm like, then I coach myself through it, and I'm like, you will know. This goes against your goals. This goes against your commitment to yourself. And it's not the fact that you ate it that's wrong. It's the fact that you negotiated your plan for a short-term satisfaction and disregarded the long-term delayed gratification you're going to get from pursuing this, because you set a goal. Like, even from my personal goals, like, I wanted to do this prep and follow the plan exactly how I need to. You know, I don't want to get into that binge restrict cycle, whatever it may be. So that's a goal I set myself. If I was to act upon that, that would be going against that goal. The camera's about to die. So I hope that makes sense. I might elaborate a little bit more, but I'm gonna eat this, recharge the camera, and I'll check back in with you later on.
We're just making it happen. So, yeah.
Double vlog scenes.
Look at this. Content creators. Well, I have no subscribers. Kayla has subscribers.
I do. My US ladies. Today has been an interesting one. I last checked in with you guys when I was eating my lunch, and then she was locked in doing check-ins, and we applied for a house or an apartment. We are in the process of looking at moving elsewhere, so we looked at apartments like a couple weeks ago and found one that we would really love to move into. So fingers and toes crossed that the application is what they require and we can live there, because it's a really slay place. So that is a whole other journey in itself. So got my check-in feedback from my coach. He's happy with where things are at, basically not making any adjustments again for another week. So protocols are still all remaining the same. 60 minutes of cardio, 10K steps, same calories as a couple weeks ago when you would have watched this video, watched the full day of eating, and just ticking along nicely. Like, my body weight did jump up a little bit and had some fluctuations, and a lot of that would have contributed from, one, my digestion was a little bit funky last week, so that contributed, and also stress, which for me, my stress shows in the scale. Like, when I see a massive jump, even though no other variable has changed, I feel like that's where it really shows, like, oh, you are under some level of stress, Kayla, you need to chill. And it shows last week when my weight started at 59, and that was like a kilo jump overnight, and then it started ticking back down, and obviously managed stress better over the weekend, and ended the week on a really, really good note last week, and it dropped significantly, and then it has stayed in that same sort of range again this morning. So definitely important, another reminder, like I'm just here with all the fucking reminders. With like scale weight, like it's obviously a data that we track and it is a metric that is useful for understanding, you know, how much food is required for your body and understanding different processes and stuff, but it's not the be all end all, because even though my weight jumped around a little bit this week, like I significantly feel so much leaner anyway and look leaner. So even no matter what the scale said, even if it jumped back up today, it's like I can physically see these changes happening and no other variable has been different. And that's been something that was really helpful this week. Even like my coach said about the digestion stuff, he's like, you know, what's kind of triggered it? Like, do you know any sort of foods that have changed? You know, what's the difference? Are you changing your meals up, etc., etc.? And I've kept my meals basically the same every single day. Just the amounts of my green beans have varied, and I sent that back. I was like looking at my MyFitnessPal. Everything has stayed the same, just there was a couple of days where I ate a lot more green beans and my fiber was significantly higher and my body didn't like that, but it's back to normal now. So that's like the benefit of eating quite simple and quite regular foods throughout the week. If you do experience things like this or have experienced things like this, you kind of understand exactly what needs to change and can look at it from a much more logical lens than just based off, oh, I feel this, I feel that. It's like, well, when you look back on the week, I have the data in MyFitnessPal being like, you ate more fiber on these days, this was the change in your portions that contributed, rather than me being go crazy about it. So it's very interesting. It's been a very, very interesting day and week, but now we're gonna go shower. Then it is time for creamy and chill on the lounge. It's creamy time! Nighttime suppies. Time to slay. Finishing off the day with the creamy, of course. I know the prep taste buds have kicked in because this flavor in particular, protein powder, is starting to taste really good as a creamy. And I didn't think that 2 months ago. It's the vanilla maple protein matrix from Bulk Nutrients. Love it in like oats, but it just tasted funny in a creamy. Jackson's been having the jockey. Normally having the lemon meringue in there, and we ran out and I swapped back to vanilla maple, but I was literally eating this last night. I was like, this tastes like normal ice cream, like this tastes so slay. So we're rocking with it with 15 grams of Biscoff melted inside. We're going to be watching How Much Mother and calling it a day because it's been a day. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next prep video.